Hello everybody. Welcome to round number 9 of the Midwest F1 season, taking place at the infamous Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari here in Imola. 4.9 kilometer circuit, which features 19 corners, 9 to the right, 10 to the left. Only the one DRS zone tonight, which makes up usually for the most of the overtaking opportunities, even though DRS won't be a factor tonight as it'll be raining in both sessions. Drivers will need to be especially on their game mentally tonight to avoid track limits, penalties, collisions with other drivers, and especially their pit windows with the changing conditions. I have lagged out of the game. I'm joining back in. Hotspot on the call for you tonight. I'll apologize if I seem quite sluggish. I have been rightfully ill these past couple of days, but huge race tonight. It's going to start off in this qualifying session especially. It's going to be starting off in the basic intermediate tire kind of wet, and then it'll be transitioning to heavy wet. So it'll be interesting to see. I assume we have a flume of drivers on track right now. As you know, in real life, Imola got called off this week due to that. You see that river on the right-hand side of your screen in the picture. That has flooded into the paddock. So this race is not happening in real life. It is still here in Midwest, although the conditions not that much different. As we are here along with Dusty Lusky. As you can see, well, this is quite surprising, actually. Only a couple drivers on outlaps at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to be exact. 2 more coming out again. Conditions right now are going to be the intermediate weather, and then it'll transition back to heavy wet. So interesting to see. Not everybody coming out of the pits. Nicky64 first out here. He has predicted himself a pole position, is what he said, in the rain. Fun to watch. I will say, so this is a very important round now because this marks 5, including today, 5 rounds left in the season. The season has been cut short by 2 rounds to make way for the new game coming out on June the 16th. So the next 4 rounds include next week at Monaco, Spain, Singapore, and then finally at Canada. Very tricky section of tracks here in the final comings of this season. Now, if you're a driver who currently leads the standings like race day 2016, you'll be quite chuffed about that. But if you're a driver like Scornsy, currently finds yourself second in the championship, you might be thinking, hang on a minute, that's not quite fair. But I will say, and I think I speak for everybody when saying this, the faster we are off of this heaping dog pile of crap game, the better. As we can see here, Nicky64 making his way through the Villeneuve chicane up into Toza. Should be a fun one here today. Of course, rain all session long for both qualifying and into the race. The exact weather forecast goes, qualifying begins here in the intermediate wet tires, then on to very wet. The race goes from intermediate wet tires like this to dynamic, so it's a toss-up, and then to the very wets at the end. So whether we stay it's a rain race the whole time, or just temporarily and then back into rain again, it'll be interesting to see. Nicky64 has had a little bit of a slip then. Coming out of Acqua Minerale, he's making his way through Alta now. Down into Rivazza then, the final 2 corners, well, I say 2 corners, there's a third one out of Rivazza, turn 19 technically, before the start-finish line. That doesn't much look like a corner, but they call it one. Be interesting to see what time he puts down here. Nicky64 in the AlphaTauri, to the line he goes, 126 flat. He's got an Aston Martin behind him. It's Cali Robb who's starting his lap, and then behind him, I believe, is that of our championship leader of race day. Making his way around the final couple of corners now. Coming to the line is that of race day. What does he have to say? And it's a 1:24.105. That puts a clear 2 seconds ahead of that of Nicky64. Scornsy then only able to be just within a second, just about 9/10 of a second behind our current provisional pole sitter. While we have a minute, let's go over said standings. As it looks like NLR No Jug, 1:23.540, goes fastest then. Very nicely done for the Alfa Romeo driver. I believe next up, we're actually going to go tag along with the Ferrari, perhaps. It's MMR Matt Rosie, I believe he is invalidated, so he'll be starting a new attempt here shortly. Top 3 in the points go like this. Race day leading it at 794. Scornsy in second, 701. Say in the Red Bull, 667. Oxid 4th, 662. Got Palmer 5th, 661. Edwin 648. Scavney 623. Dusty Lusky 592. Aero Racing Design 581. And Impossible Bacon rounding out the top 10 at 579. As far as the relegation battle goes, we've got NLR No Jug at 300, Nikki 64, 291, and Shelly the Turtle in 21st at 178. It is a 74-point gap between Houdini at P17 and No Jug at P18. Well, yeah, that'd be quite the interesting story then, as NLR No Jug currently sits provisional pole by a fair half a second over that of Aero Racing Design. As for the constructors' standings, McLaren atop the table, 14.55 to Alpine's 12.43, 12.27 sit Mercedes in third, 12.11 for Ferrari fourth, Williams in fifth at 10.94, Haas in sixth at 10.18, Red Bull 1001, AlphaTauri 820, Aston Martin 674, Alfa Romeo rounding out the table at 486. We are along with Matt Rosie here. He will be coming up to, well, he's already passed the Sector 3 timing line, so it'll be interesting to see what he comes up to here as he makes his way into Rivazza. Once again, the rain is only going to be getting heavier in this qualifying session, so if you're going to put down a flyer lap, you want to do it now, and that's why we have all but 4 drivers out on track at this moment in time. Matt Rosie goes second, 124.083, puts himself within half a second of No Jug. That pushes race day down to 4th, Say in 5th. And by the way, welcome to the Division 1 grid. We've got Adoltonian in place of Scavney this week. He's just progressed better on his lap, that time by 9/10 of a second. Finds himself P14, the slowest of those, with a timed lap attempts to their name. I believe we have an AlphaTauri that's gone off somewhere. It's not Nikki 64. It is that of VTech, who's cutting the grass on his way through the Villeneuve chicane. But Adoltonian, good to see him on track here in Division 1. It's been a fair minute, if ever, that he's had himself a Division 1 attempt, very much a Division 2 veteran. But I tell you what, either way, as long as he can finish today's Grand Prix, it'll be a good points haul for him, so he can perhaps chase down that promotion that he's seeking into Division 1. So, of course, I set aside any of my preferences for drivers, but I am hoping he has a good result today. His teammate, temporary teammate that is of Say, making his way into Rivazza now, seems to be having an alright lap so far. Maybe a tick slow, I'd say. Not quite sure it's going to beat his current best. Have to wait and see. To the line goes the Red Bull, and he is slower by over a second and a half. Not what he wanted. Next up, I believe No Jug is exiting the final corner. Let's see what he has to offer here as he makes his way to the line. And, well, he's slower by over 5.5 seconds there, so I don't believe that was his flyer lap. I think this one might be. I tell you what, the allergies have been kicking my ass these past couple days. Either allergies, cold, or something worse. Because I tell you what, it's... Oh, goodness me, I think we've just had... Well, that's Aero Racing Design, who has slid right off the track then, out of the Tamburello chicane, has hit the outside Tech Pro barrier, and has lost the entirety of his front wing. Not ideal for him. Does currently sit third, and I tell you what, as the rain gets heavier, that might be pretty good for him, as I believe that is the Ferrari then. It's not Scornsy, it is Matt Rosie who's gone off. Doesn't appear he's hit anything. Nikki 64 retires. As you can see, the rain certainly getting heavier here, but no standing water yet. So it has to be said, I think really we're running out of time here for flyer laps. 9 minutes to go in the session. Standing water collecting now on the curb, as you can see there. Not yet puddling on the track. As No Jug makes his way down into Rivazza for what I would assume to be probably the final time, at least for him. Let's see what he has, and no, he decides to go into the pits. We do have his teammate Gunnar Addy making his way down the back straight. It looks like both AlphaTauris have decided to call it quits from the session. Adoltonian exiting the final corner now. No Jug has retired as Adoltonian comes in, and I think the drivers are starting to be aware the session really... I mean, as you can see, the water now beginning to collect in puddles on the track there. As you can see, if you're not on the racing line, Matt Rosie's going to come in. I would assume we have seen the end of the timed laps here. I wouldn't actually mind if everybody retired from the session, so we can get the race going a little bit earlier so I can get to bed quicker. Not usually something you'd ever hear me say, but I tell you what, man. time going through it, I'll tell you that much. Let's see if Say has anything to produce here. I mean, he's heading down into Rivatsa now. He is the sole... well, he's got 4 other drivers on track with him at the moment. Edwin on an outlap, surprisingly. Have to wait and see. To the line goes Say, and he did not improve. 2.5 seconds slower. It looks like Shirai is retired in the pits. Scornsy on his way out on the full wets. I think, you know what, that might be a fair strategy there from Scornsy. Maybe does he take the time, get the feel for the cars on the wet tires? You know, maybe a bit of a shakedown, more or less, in the rallying world. That's what we'd call that. But, you know, maybe that's his strategy here. Maybe just get a couple laps under your belt on the full wet tires, see what you like, see what you don't, see where you need to improve. This is a good call here from Scornsy. I tell you what, the timed laps, I mean, you're not going to improve anymore in the session. This just might be very smart here from the Ferrari driver. We'll have to wait and see, because I tell you what, at the moment, he's 7th on the grid. He's going to have a mountain to climb during the race in a track where overtaking is hard-pressed to find normally in the rain. You're not going to have DRS either. Oh, I tell you what, this might be a very smart play here from Scornsy, who is now... and I think that's what he's doing as well, as we've got Edwin on track as well. He's on the full wets. So it looks like, at the moment, which I don't really believe is going to be, as you say, is gone 3.5 seconds slower there. He's still on the intermediates. He's still looking for a time, although I don't believe he's going to find it. I think it's safe to say we're going to see NLR No Jug on pole, Matt Rosie 2nd, Aero Racing Design 3rd, Race Day 4th, Say in 5th. His race day is retired. And I tell you what, we still got some drivers on track at the moment. A lot of them have retired. Half the grid, really, but I tell you what, 5.5 minutes of a free practice session here might be a decent thing to have. I think, really, if you're those who retired on track, this may have been a mistake. Because now, not only this, that you're getting the practice session, really, you're going to have open track with it as well. This is a very, very interesting situation here, I'll tell you that much. It looks like the Red Bull of Say has gone off again. Yeah, it looks like he's struggling on the intermediates. He'll have to come in for the wets if he wants to continue, although I doubt it. Cali Robb has followed in the footsteps as well. He's out on track on an outlap on the wets. Aero Racing Design retiring now. So that leaves us with 2, 4... Well, Edwin's retired now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 drivers remaining in the session. Scornsy once again. I don't really think going for times here. Really just... Oh, as I believe Say's gone off again. Yes, he has. That's way back there. Now, Scornsy's going to come into the pits. And I believe Say's going to do that as well. We may even end the qualifying session about 4 minutes early here. Say's going to stay out again. Why not? I think... I tell you what, quite interesting to see. Cali Robb on a lap. So, as you remember, real-life Imola has been called off this week, so this is actually... I mean, if you're the European sort, this may be your only entertainment value of your whole weekend if you're not watching the Nürburgring 24-hour. I believe Formula E has a Grand Prix this weekend in Jakarta, wherever the hell that is. I probably botched that pronunciation. I think it's Indonesia is actually where they're at. But I don't know. I could be wrong. So making his way out of the Alta chicane. If you're in the NASCAR sort, we've got the return to North Wilkesboro this weekend. Saturday is the Truck Series race. Sunday, the Cup All-Star race, which for you Europeans is just a way of saying, well, there's not much else to say other than it's kind of a waste of time, but it is fun to watch, and it is for money. So that's pretty cool. No points for that, just money. Oxid to the line, again, just getting laps under his belt. 2 and such minutes left to go in the session. Oh, double spinach here coming out of Toza. As we've got Shelly the Turtle, who trying to get back up to gear, and Gunnar Addy is also taking a wee bit of a spin. Just over 2.5 minutes left to go in the session. Got Say coming around again. Looks like he's going to stay out even more. I tell you what, if you've retired from this session, this is getting kind of boring. I hate saying that, but, you know, we had drivers retire, you know, with about 7 or 8 minutes left to go in the session. I tell you what, that may have been a mistake for them, not just because they're missing out on practice time here, but because also, I mean, it's very similar to being warmed up for a sport, isn't it? Because, you know, you spend the time warming up, you get some laps under your belt, and then you sit back down, and, well, there's Shelly the Turtle having a little bit of a slide going through that, and, well, I tell you what, he's really lighting up those tires. I tell you what, that may just throw a couple of these drivers off their game, because drivers like Say and Callie Robb, you know, a lot of it has been aquaplaning and slip and sliding through the circuit, but at least they'll have a little bit of a feel of how the track is going to develop. Whereas drivers like No Jug Matt Rose here, Racing Design and Race Day, tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if they're at a disadvantage come race time. Ugh. Oxid coming into the Tamburello chicane now. Back again through. Yeah, you can see very tentative on the throttle through these parts of the track. I know they're in the full wets and he's on intermediates, but you would be anyways, wouldn't you? Over the boards on the outside, or maybe that's just curb, I'm not quite sure. Bit more sliding there into Toza. Final minute or so of the practice session. Sorry, qualifying session, not a practice session. Although, by goodness, it does look like a qualifying practice session, doesn't it? Callie Robb's gone into the pits and retired. That leaves us with 3. Almost 2, as Hoxton has almost pulled the George Russell then. I believe that same section of track. Well, Lancey's joined us on track, that's good news. Qualified himself 12th. Huh. Oh, we have a minute. I believe we do have NBA happening, so let's check the scores. We've got halftime at Lakers at Nuggets, other way around perhaps, 53-48 as the Lakers lead. Tomorrow the Celtics play the Heat, 8:30. After the Heat beat the Celtics yesterday, 123-116. This will be the end of our session here. Oh, look at this. Say has gone with the fish lid. Oh, and that's interesting. Say's collected 5-place grid penalty then with Lancey. Uh-oh. Well, that's a slight... Oh, what in the hell is this? So that's given Say 2 different 5-place grid penalties then. I tell you what. And then Say gets disqualified from the session for going the wrong way. That may erase his time. And it does. I tell you what, I'm not really sure what tomfoolery was just happening. As I was reading off the scores, I didn't expect much to happen. But what the hell? I'm not entirely sure what's just happened. But the fish lantern is starting dead last. What? What is this? Lancey going to the pits, that'll end the session. I'm not entirely sure what's just happened. So, your starting grid then for the Emilia-Romagna. Well, no, hang on a minute. This is our only Italian race of the year. We can call this the Italian Grand Prix, can't we? For the Italian Grand Prix here in Midwest. It will be That of NLR No Jug on pole, Matt Rossi second. It's an all-Italian front row. Aero Racing Design third, Race Day fourth, Cali Rob fifth, the Scornsy in sixth, Edwin seventh, Possible Bacon eighth, ninth, Dusty Lusky, 10th, Shariah, 11th, Lancey, 12th, VTech, 13th, Nikki, 14th, Adoltonian, 15th, will go to that of GSR Hawksid, 16th, Shelly the Turtle, 17th, Gunner, 18th, Houdini, and for some reason, rounding out the field, P19 is Say. I'm not entirely sure what's happened there. But here we go, into the race. So 25 seconds to go until our formation lap here for the Italian Grand Prix, or Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, or whatever the full name of this is. I'm going to call it the Italian Grand Prix because we don't plan to race at Monza this season. And so, here we are then, 10 seconds to go. Let's see. Midwest F1 brought to you by Raise Energy and Epos Audio, as per usual. So, wets here to start. It'll be the intermediate tires, then on to dynamic weather, then on to full wet. Formation lap underway here. Looks like everybody is started on the intermediate, so really, tire strategy is only going to matter when you stop tonight. Because realistically, both the intermediate and the full wets are going to be able to last over 30 laps, the race being 32 laps long. Or at least according to my notes, that's what it is. I could be wrong. That said 16 to 24, so yeah, close enough anyways. I think it's more or less going to be depending on when the rain gets too heavy. I don't think tire strategy as far as wear is going to really matter that much, unless perhaps you started on the full wets, carried through the dynamic into the full wet at the end of the race, which didn't happen because nobody's on them. But it's NLR No Jug on pole position here. A driver which, by the way, fighting to stay afloat in the promotion relegation battle. At the moment, remember, 74 points behind that of Houdini, who occupies 17th place in the standings. Remember, anywhere above 17 and upwards, you're safe from relegation down into Division 2. So it looks like for him, this might be a good day. Uh-oh, what the hell has happened here? Matt Rossi has gone off. We saw a similar thing to this in Japan, where he had left the circuit or slid on the formation lap. That was last season we saw that happen while he drove for McLaren, but it's happened again, hasn't it? Very, very interesting stuff then. Remember, DRS probably won't come into effect tonight, so it's going to be pure racing here. Pure amounts of, well, who sucks less, I think, is going to be the answer to this Grand Prix. It's not really going to be who's the best. It's going to be who sucks less, and I think that might be really the key. Look how crooked NLR No Jug is on the grid. The outside lane here on the starting grid really is typically at a disadvantage, and so he's angled that thing really parallel with the rest of the straight here on the way in towards the Tamburello chicane, as we have our final driver of Say coming to the grid here. Can we get a better view of the starting two rows? Doesn't look like we can. Either way, lights are coming on here in Imola. We have 4 and then 5. And it's lights out and away we go here in the rainy city of Imola. And to the inside went the Ferrari, and I think, has the Alfa Romeo gotten the better start? Yes, he has, as the grid fans out behind him. It is NLR No Jug, still with the lead. Race day, getting around his championship rival of Scornsy. Scornsy, I think, dropped back a couple spots there as Cali Rob got around him as well as they head through Tamburello and down towards Villeneuve. It looks like everything has sorted itself out. For the time being, Scornsy's lost a couple of places then. Still side by side away on the way back as Dusty Lusky gets around Shariah Coleslaw and the Williams. Hawksid and Say battling it out, and Hawksid goes wide into the gravel trap, and it looks like he's going to be losing even more positions then. At the moment, NLR No Jug has retained the lead. Matt Rossi drops off to over a second behind. Aero Racing Design trying to pressure the Ferrari. He's actually more so under pressure from the McLaren behind. So let's just see. So it looks as if really, well, Scornsy was temporarily ahead of that of Cali Rob. It looks like everybody inside the top 11 has stayed the same. Nicky's up 1 spot, Say up 6. VTech down 3, Gunner Addy down 2. It looks like Adoltonian 3 seconds of penalty then for corner cutting. That's an early penalty. Has he perhaps slid over the Alta chicane And that's what's resulted in the penalty, because that would have been a quick way, quick to pick up 3 warnings then, as it looks like Callie Robb getting overtaken by both Scornsy and Edwin coming out of the final with the Rivazza corners. He's down to 7th. As it looks like Say now getting around Nikki 64. We can see that in our screen now, as he has placed himself around the AlphaTauri on his way into Tamburello, but it looks as if the grid now, I don't want to use the word calming down, but the calm before the storm nonetheless. As race day 2016 doing his best into Tosa. Let's see, does he get better acceleration out of Aero Racing Design? I tell you what, Aero Racing Design in a good spot here, although I'm a little questionable about his skill in the rain. I don't have naturally much experience here casting Division 1, not as much as, say, Crash does, but I tell you what, I am slightly concerned for that of Aero Racing Design, because he's going to be under a lot of pressure from the top 2 in the championship immediately behind him, but at the moment he's holding them off. Further back, Shariah wants to look to the inside of Dusty, not able to make it happen. He's almost run into the back of the Haas there, but it looks as if he's going to have to calm it for now. Race day within 3/10 of Aero Racing Design. He's got plenty of battery to use as well. Well, actually, both of them do, in fact. Aero Racing Design deploying for defend here, and Race Day deploying for attack. 4/10 of a second and closing. Udidi getting around Shelly the Turtle there, coming out of turn 18. The second of the Rivazza corners. It looks like Say might have a move here at Lancey. Now these two was the culprit in the qualifying session of why Say had his 10 grid place penalty. What turned to 5 and then went to 10. And now, P11 and P12. This might be a very interesting battle to see here. Hopefully no sort of argy-bargy happens between these two as Say chooses the inside into Tosa. Does he have it? Does he have it cleanly? Very little contact made there, I think. It was tough to tell. Say has picked up oversteer on acceleration, and Lancey's gone around anyways and has kept the spot. 5/10 of a second, the gap between Race Day and Aero Racing Design. At least it was when I started the session. It's now plummeted down to 2.5 tenths. We'll have to wait and see. Race Day handles Alta very nicely then. Acceleration that time was pretty dead even. The gap not necessarily closing. We'll say Race Day's got about 20% more battery than that of Aero Racing Design, but again, Aero Racing Design will only have to press to defend down the pit straight as No Jug goes fastest again, 125.782. Let's see if Race Day, using that energy deploy down the pit straight into the Tamburello chicane, does he have enough to find a line? He's going to try the outside. He had a little bit of a peek. He's going to wait for Aero Racing Design to make the mistake. That might be the opening there. Exiting Tamburello. Will he try the inside down into Villeneuve? It's a gutsy maneuver even in the good condition. He's going to try it here. And he's going to stick with it. Stays with the outside. He'll have the inside into Tosa. And Aero Racing Design really pulled that one off. Oh, but Aero Racing Design wants it down to the inside. Will they be any sort of challenge into Piratella? It looks like it may. Aero Racing Design has the inside. And I think Race Days had better acceleration then, considering he was on the outside line. Brilliant racing between these two. I tell you what, they've not got much reason to go that gutsy this early, but brilliant racing nonetheless, and I'm not complaining. 4/10 of a second, it looks like Say and Lancey have gotten tangled up there. Say's gotten around the Williams before heading into Alta. Remember, Say was qualified about 5th before the unexpected grid penalties came into play. Callie Robb doing his best, trying to find something around Edwin here. Does Aero Racing Design have anything to get back up to Race Day? It doesn't really look like he does. Maybe Race Day's just had that much better acceleration out of Rivazza then. Closest battle on track is that still of Lancey to Say as they make their way into Tamburello. Meanwhile, Scornsy starting to get within striking range perhaps at Aero Racing Design here shortly. Kelly Robb within 5/10 of Edwin, who Edwin, by the way, looking to try to attack Scornsy, but what's going to be his priority? Attack Scornsy or defend from Kelly Robb? As it looks like Say back within a couple of tenths here of Shariah, and it looks like, this is the interesting thing here, dynamic weather did not mean more rain. The rain has stopped. 2 laps at most in this condition, and we'll have drivers coming into the pits for the dry tires. I would expect it to be probably the soft or the medium. Softs will last you between 11 and 14, at least that's what my notes say. And remember, it is supposed to transition back to heavy wet. So perhaps it'll be an interesting call for sure. No jug, fastest lap, and the laps are only going to get faster with the track drying out. Remember, the game will declare itself officially dry once DRS gets turned on by race control. Remember, there's only one DRS zone on this track. It does range from outside of Rivazza down into the Tamburello chicane. Say's going to try the right-hand line into Tamburello. Does he have it? Does he have it clearly? He at least has it for now, and he does get around the Williams there of Shariah Coleslaw. Very nicely done. Lancey, who was fighting with Say earlier, has fallen behind his Williams teammate then of Shariah. That puts him down to P12. At the moment, Edwin has company of Kelly Robb, and Scornsy has company of Edwin, so a good couple of car battle here. I would assume we might see DRS here shortly. You can see that dry line certainly starting to make its way on the track. We'll have to wait and see what the outcome is, because I tell you what, we might just be seeing... I would assume we're going to be going balls to the wall here once DRS gets activated, because you're going to want to make those spots up before the rain starts happening. Two-tenths of a second the gap down into Rivazza. Does Kelly Robb have anything? Looks like Edwin maybe's made a mistake then. That's left the door wide open for Kelly Robb. Bacon's fallen back about a second and a half. Say fallen back, I don't really think he got within the reach of this battle. 2.5 tenths the gap. Say's gone fastest. Shariah Coleslaw comes in. No DRS in play yet, but the Williams of Shariah is the first one to pit. Shelly the Turtle follows suit. What tires go on? They are the mediums. Let's see what Shelly picks. Does he pick medium or does he pick soft? Mediums then for the Aston of Shelly. Mediums then and a wing change for the Alpine of Oxid. And we do have a yellow flag. Is that Shariah exiting the pits? That's exactly what it is. So maybe the track just wasn't dry enough to go on to the dry tires, and Shariah is disqualified for blocking the pit lane. Well, I tell you what, that doesn't really seem like a fair disqualification to me. Shariah, I mean, in all fairness, it did seem a little bit early to come out onto the dry tires. As you can see now, the Red Bull trying to navigate getting around. Well, this is interesting then. I think Hoxton's just ran into the back of Shariah, whose car is disqualified. Wow. Unfortunate turn of events there. One of two Willies to go medium. The other still on track, has yet to pit. That was a very odd turn of events there. It looks like Say getting around Dusty before Tamburello. Yes, he does. Very nicely done there. That was a gutsy maneuver. And Say has cracked the top 10. He's up 10 spots since the beginning of the race. Quite a drive from him so far. I tell you what, we are only a quarter of the way through this Grand Prix. Ugh. 4/10 of a second the gap for Kelly Robb. Back to Edwin. I would assume we're going to get DRS activated probably next time round. We're not seeing any spray off of the intermediate tires, which will tell me that the track is dry enough to go onto the slicks. Although in the case of Shirai Coleslaw, you could make the argument it's still too soon. Not quite sure. Tough to tell. No Jug goes fastest, 124, 142. Impossible Bacon comes in, the first driver in the top 10 to make the stop. Mediums going on for the Mercedes. It's a good stop, I'd say. Dusty Lusky comes in as well, and I believe Nicky64 has also pulled the trigger on the dry tires. Now we'll just have to watch and see if Impossible Bacon closes the gap. The next car to him on the intermediates is that of, well, it'll be Houdini now. It's a second, well, it's a 2-second and climbing gap, because he's only just gotten out of the pits. 2.5 seconds as they make their way through Tamburello. And it doesn't necessarily look as if it's closing, albeit the mediums are still going to be not up to temp just yet. Possible Bacon, it's down to 3.5 now. Good battle here between Callie, Rob, and that of Edwin, but race day within 3/4 of a second on Matt Rosie, closing in on half a second. No Jug, the leader, comes in, and so do the rest of the podium too. Rest of the podium 3 rather. They both make their way in, as well as Aero Racing Design, as well as Scornsy, as well as Edwin, as well as Callie Rob, and as well as Say. Lancey, yes, he'll be coming in as well. VTech stays out. Bolden, I think, really, because if you look at it, now this is the battle that we were watching between Houdini and Bacon. When they got out of the pits, Bacon was at about a give or take 3.5 second gap. The gap before Houdini coming into the pits, 4.5 seconds. So Bacon, for a period of time, was losing time. So I think, perhaps, has Bacon pulled the trigger too early? That may be the case. Scornsy's come out right on the gearbox of Edwin here. Edwin, look at him swerving, trying to get heat into the tires. He's going to need it. Scornsy in pursuit. Scornsy, oh, I tell you what, he's not had a very good trip through Villeneuve. You can tell the tires aren't up to temperature yet, struggling with understeer. Callie Robb still in pursuit. Did I miss the message saying DRS was enabled? Must have missed it. I don't recall seeing it. We'll be able to find out. Well, I guess the next up would be race day in Matt Rosie as Hoxton goes fastest, 1:23.741. So it's fair to say the mediums are the optimal tire now. Mind you, it's going to start raining again. We don't know when, but it will, and it will get very wet very quickly. Very many different things in play here. Let's go ahead and look, and now DRS is enabled. Race Day is going to have the first taste of DRS today, as he has it on the back of the Ferrari of Matt Rosie. Does he perhaps have enough? He's got plenty of battery to make the move happen, and I think at the moment, yeah, it doesn't quite look like he's in any hurry to get that spot. Bacon's gone fastest, 1:23.298, as Dusty comes in, I'd say about a lap late then. Scornsy on Edwin here. It was within a tenth not long ago. Scornsy, I think, had to back off as really it's going to be tricky, a tricky done to go through Tamburello and make a spot, although we've seen it a couple times today already. Callie Robb within 2.5 tenths, back up to 3.5. Shelley the Turtle, 1:22.131, new fastest lap for the Aston Martin Aramco Kazin Formula 1 team. God, that is way too much of a mouthful to say. Within 2 tenths on Impossible Bacon here to get himself into 9th. Is he going to try the awkward line into Aqua Minerale? The answer is no. But now we have a battle for the lead. VTech has stayed out. No Jug in pursuit. I tell you what, No Jug. I tell you what, VTech's doing his best to hold up No Jug here. No Jug does reclaim the lead of the Grand Prix, does go fastest as well. VTech did everything he could to hold up the lead driver then. But to his dismay, or much to his chagrin, it's not really gone to plan. Where is VTech going to come out, though? They'll be dropping behind, I would say, at least P12 of Nicky, so P12 is where he's going to come out here. Not bad. That's going to leave him with, well, nothing really. He'll come out where he started in P12. Kelly Robb once again trying to pressure Edwin here. Looks to the outside through Toza. It's a viable line in the dry condition. That part's for sure. We've seen drivers take that outside line through the 7th turn. Didn't work then. As we etch closer towards the halfway mark of the Grand Prix, no safety car, no virtual safety car, only one disqualification. It was for Shiraya, who spun coming out of the pit lane, and the game decided he took too long and dropped the band hammer on him. Very hair-trigger very hair-trigger DSQ there, it has to be said. Race day within a couple of tenths here on Matt Rossi. Who has the better acceleration out of Rivazza? It looks like it is race day 2016. Does he have enough? Matt Rossi setting the battery to defend. Race day not deploying his energy store here. Matt Rossi down to 40%. Race day 2016 still at 70. Oh, I tell you what, Matt Rossi may have made a hash of Tamburello then because it's race day. He looked to the inside into Villeneuve. And I tell you what, that was going to be a bold maneuver there. But I think he chose the better of it. Still some good points up for grabs here for race day. The win is not certain. But I tell you what, still some great points. NLR No Jug still in the lead. Race day second. Matt Rossi second. Race day third. Battle within the podium 3 here. No Jug or Matt Rossi striving to become only the 3rd different winner so far this season. That's right, this is round 9. Looking to become only the 3rd different winner. Race day won round 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Australia, Japan, Netherlands, Hungary, Azerbaijan, and Miami. Edwin won the opening round in Saudi Arabia. That's about it. Race day 2016, here he goes. Oh, but this is interesting here. Adoltonian's got to get out of the way, and I think he's trying to, but oh goodness me, this is interesting here because Adoltonian, Matt Rossi loses the spot. I tell you what, he may have a fair go at Adoltonian for not getting out of the way. Well, he's definitely made contact to the back of the Red Bull there. Adoltonian's car did not move from the circuit. That one may be a fair estimate at a ignoring blue flags penalty there. Goodness me, I almost uttered a homophobic slur. That would have been terrible. Accidentally. Here's race day 2016 within a quarter of a second on Matt Rossi ahead. Doing his best. He's going to look to the left side into Alta. Doesn't have anything. Aero Racing Design back within 0.5 of a second behind. Aero Racing Design, good position for him. I think really just playing it calm will do him good here. DRS is going to be activated. Kelly Robb was 0.3 of a second behind the Scornsy. He's fallen off quite significantly. Race day 2016. Does he have a look on Matt Rossi into Tamburello? The answer is no, but his teammate of Scornsy has made the move around Edwin, and that puts Scornsy up to 5th. Edwin still right there, still within pursuit, but at the moment not enough. And I tell you what, Matt Rossi doing an excellent job defending behind to race day 2016, the current championship leader. Looks like Houdini falling down a couple of spots there. He's been overtaken, I think, by at least his teammate of Dusty Lusky and Possible Bacon. 3-second penalty for multiple warnings, only the 2nd of the day. Not ideal for him, and he'll lose at least a spot at this moment in time. About halfway through the Grand Prix now. No Jug has taken the lead. Well, I say he's taken it. He started on pole. Hasn't looked back since. Race day 2016 within 0.3 then of Matt Rossi. Remember, whoever gets to the second spot here, which I think maybe that's why Race Day isn't trying that hard to overtake him. Maybe does he see that, you know, he'll be at the he'll be in the black hole here with the, I don't want to call this a DRS train just yet. It's only a couple of cars, but it is very much at that point. And Aero Racing Design might be having a look now. Well, I tell you what, he almost did. Chose to back out. I think patience is going to be the answer here for Race Day 2016. If he doesn't have DRS, he may be vulnerable. Now, he does have more battery than both of Matt Rossi and Aero Racing Design combined, but that battery comes and goes right quickly on this track. Bacon is within a couple of tenths of Say here. Reminder, Say up 11 positions since the beginning of this race. It looks like Shelley getting around Dusty on their way into Tamburello. Very nicely done. And it looks like Scornsey has been overtaken. Oh, but Scornsey's been overtaken twice. Once by Edwin, and then once by Callie Robb. And Callie Robb has spun it round. Well, he's not hit anything, and that's a good sign. But he has certainly spun it round here coming out of the Alta chicane. No contact was seen, at least via my eyes. And that is very unfortunate for him because he was having a damn good race. But at the moment, Race Day 2016, does he find the right-hand side into Tamburello? The answer is yes. Race Day 2016 played the patience game, and it's paid off for him as he finds second place. And now has 10.5 seconds back to No Jug in the lead. But more importantly, I think defending from the cars behind is, well, almost certainly going to have to be on his mind. Remember, No Jug currently sits in the relegation zone. Oh, that was a big wiggle then for Matt Rossi. He may lose the spot to Aero Racing Design. ARD is going to look for it. Oh, and he almost did. Didn't quite have the real estate to make it happen. Matt Rossi is now fallen outside of 7.5 tenths back to Race Day. Oh, Matt Rossi might be struggling for grip here. ARD, does he want the left side into Alta? Oh, it'd be a tough move if he did. Oh, hi. My cat has decided to join me here. Oh, I tell you what, Aero Racing Design then may be botching the acceleration out of Alta because Matt Rossi's gotten away quite nicely. Oh, it's an interesting turn of events, that's for sure. We get a yellow flag. I'm not sure who it is. And whatever it was, it's resolved itself rather quickly. Callie Robb within 3 tenths of Nikki 64 for the 10th spot. Currently the closest battle on track as they make their way down into Rivazza. Close battle here. It is quite sunny out, considering the rain and the downpour of it we're going to have here towards the end of the Grand Prix. I think what we're going to end up seeing as far as strategy is Callie Robb does get around Nikki 64 prior to the Tamburello chicane. Very nicely done there for the Aston Martin. I think what we're going to see is the drivers last as long as they can on the medium tires and then transition into the full wets. Because I think going to intermediate and then full wet would be an extra stop, which I don't think they need, as Matt Rossi's picked up 3 seconds for multiple warning. Well, he's just come out of Aqua Minerale, and that's a very easy one to get wrong, and I think that's what he's done. Not ideal for him. But, you know, making the extra stop, I don't think is going to be the answer here. I think... Nikki, what the hell? Oh, my phone's just dropped on the floor because the cat's tail has gotten caught up in the cord, I'm afraid. Oh, don't pull it that way. Dragging my screen face down on the floor. Anyways, 5 tenths of a second. And now 4 tenths, and Scornsey is closing fast on that of Edwin. Looks to the inside into Tamburello and doesn't choose to make the move this time. Once again, I think we're going to have to see the moves be made now rather than in the pits. Well, you never know. We may see some differentials on when the drivers choose to stop for the full wets or the intermediates. It does say we're going to get to very wet conditions for the end of the race. How quickly it transitions is going to be the question. I'm not quite sure. As Matt Rossi there goes wide through Piratella, so maybe that may have been one of the points at which he's picked up warnings before. Scornsy still doing his best to keep to the back of Edwin. Grid is very much mellowed out here. We are going to keep eyes on this battle here, Scornsy and Edwin. Remember, Edwin won last time out in Brazil. His second win of the year in a season that, well, I hate to say it, it's been very dominated by that of Race Day, who's taken 6? 6 out of 8 rounds, is that right? Yeah, 6 out of 8 rounds were taken by that of Race Day. Scornsy within 5/10 of a second. Remember how close the finish was between Scornsy and Race Day then at Australia. Tenths of a second the gap. Kind of expanding ever so slightly. Still currently the closest battle on track. GSR Edwin has moved within 0.6 of a second of Aero Racing Design ahead. Neat little 3-car battle here to take advantage of Matt Rosie's 3-second penalty, which would put you on the podium at this point in time. Closing in on 10 laps to go here momentarily. When does the rain begin is going to be my question, because right now we're having a grand old time in the dry tires. Oh, as Shelly the Turtle picks up 3 seconds for multiple warnings. Down P14, he won't lose any spots, but still not ideal nonetheless. GSR Edwin, you can see, really using his energy store here, down to 10%. Not many places to recharge on this lap, that part's for sure. Tamburello and Villeneuve are quite high-speed corners, Pilatella as well. Aqua Minerale is only slow temporarily. Oh, and look at this! Aero Racing Design's lost 2 spots there. The head of the DRS train, Scornsy and Edwin, they took advantage. And now Aero Racing Design might look down to the inside of Scornsy and chooses not to. Very not good beginning to the lap here for Aero Racing Design, but again, holding on to position, but he's going to try around the outside. Oh, I tell you what, if he gets good acceleration, it might happen. Scornsy's had a wiggle, but it's not come away for Aero Racing Design there. I wouldn't panic, though. Sure, you've lost a spot, but this is still a good result. And that really is the mindset that you have to have, because mistakes, they will pile onto each other if you let them. Right, so Aero Racing Design's just lost 2 spots there. Some drivers may think, oh boy, I don't want to lose any more. I better start driving extra hard. And then they'll lose the spots because they tried too hard. Well, Aero Racing Design need not make that mistake here. He's got quite the gap to stay behind. He's not in any trouble. Just stay within the pack here. Edwin's the head of the DRS train. This might be helpful. They may get the spot back. Scornsy, I think, certainly believes that. He may have a go here at the Mercedes. 3.5 tenths, down to 3. Does he try around the outside? Look at the pace. It's a 20-kilometer-an-hour difference between the two as they head into Tamburello, and it's side by side. Aero Racing Design, oh, Scornsy was not able to get the move made, and that almost opened the door for Aero Racing Design into Villeneuve, but it hasn't happened. Into Toza, Aero Racing Design has to back off again. He tries the outside. Sticks with it. 2.5 tenths the gap. It's going to be 10 laps to go this time by. Very good race it's been so far. Very clean as well. Of course, it's a very difficult track to overtake on. It is a very old school track. But I tell you what, we've been treated today. It's good battles. What you'd expect from Division 1 and what we've had. Still currently the closest battle on track. It's 0.5 of a second from Scornsy to Edwin. 6.5 from Aero Racing Design to Scornsy. Aero Racing Design 11%. Scornsy down to 8 and closing. Edwin has yet to touch the battery at 13, but Scornsy is closing. And here he goes now. He's going to try around the left-hand side. He's going to make that one happen rather easily. Is that Ferrari of Scornsy? But now, will he be at the disadvantage with Edwin in pursuit? And he'll have DRS next time around with 10 laps to go here in Imola. Edwin wanted the peak down to the inside to Villeneuve. Didn't make it happen. Into Toza. Looks like Scornsy might start to pull away with this one. Remember, he is still... Oh, that was a big wiggle then from Scornsy. Making their way into Piratella. Does anyone have anything? The answer is no, but I'll tell you what, that was a worrying wiggle then from Scornsy. Toxid, 3 seconds for multiple warnings. That's him down in P15. Oh, Edwin has not had a good trip into Aquamina Rally that time. He's gone well over the exit curb of turn 11 and has, I don't want to say cut turn 12, but he's stayed right off the circuit. And that one has very not gone well there for Edwin. Lancy, 3-second penalty for him. Exiting Rivatsa. You can see kinda some clouds forming there along the left-hand side of your screen. You can kinda see that as Edwin makes his way around the outside of Aero Racing Design and reclaims the 5th position. You can kinda see some clouds forming. But they don't really look that threatening at the moment, I'll give it that. But clouds they are. So maybe we can take intermediates to the end. Remember, the rain is supposed to happen. We've got, 8 laps to go this time by. Plenty of times for things to go right or wrong. Four and a half tenths, Aero Racing Design doing his best. Again, it's gonna... Well, Aero Racing Design, again, has lost the positions, but, again, staying calm, cooler heads will prevail. That's gonna be the moral of the story here, I think. So 8 laps to go. We've got only this grouping of drivers within DRS range on each other. The grid is rather spread out. Remember, the rain still to come according to the weather. Maybe with there being no safety car, that's kind of what's going to happen. Maybe the rain will hold off enough to the end where we only get a couple of laps of it. That's certainly what it seems like is going to happen, because if we had a safety car by now, I bet you we'd be in the rain at this point. As with how much the race would have been extended. You know what? The lap is only, what, a minute 25? Maybe they... Well, I'm sorry, to 1:18 now. Wow, it couldn't have been more wrong. But, yeah, so a minute and 18-second lap. In the rain, it's the minute 20-something, so that makes sense. But, you know, under safety car, it does take some time. As you can see, the clouds, they are seriously forming now. Oh, I tell you what, is Aero Racing Design made somewhat of a mistake somewhere, because he's fallen outside of 2.5 seconds back to Edwin, and now only one driver on the circuit has DRS to another. It's going to be Edwin to Scornsy. And yes, those clouds are beginning to form. They do look quite ominous there, as you can see out of your screen now. And behind you as well, yeah, clouds really are starting to overtake the circuit. .5-second lead from our leader of No Jug, who, by the way, has, well, he's not really had much to do today. He's qualified on pole, and that was pretty much going to be the whole battle. And he really just needed to keep himself clean, and, well, that's exactly what he's done so far to this point. Remember, here were the stakes coming into the race. As far as him concerned, remember, the season has been cut down by a couple of rounds. With the new game coming out on June the 16th. It is currently May the 18th. So less than a month away. NLR No Jug sits P18. Trying 74 points behind. Escaping the relegation battle here. Houdini, P17 of the points coming into tonight at 374. I'll tell you what, NLR No Jug. Well, there's Houdini back in P16. Tell you what, I think NLR No Jug might just escape relegation today. Oh, that's mighty interesting. I see rain falling. I thought it was just glitching on my screen, but no, I can see it not only on the halo, but in the skies as well. The clouds are crying again here in Imola. And now this is where it becomes interesting, because how long I believe we've had a AlphaTauri as DRS now disabled. Well, that was quick. See, the track hasn't gotten wet yet. I would have kept it open for another lap, probably. Oh, this is interesting here. We've got drivers coming in. Lancey coming in. He puts on the intermediates. Cali Robb coming in. I believe Bacon has just come in. Nicky 64, VTEC. Oh, I believe we've had an Alfa Romeo go off. It's the leader of No Jug! He's got to get going. He still has the opportunity. Race day still behind. He's going through Aqua Minerale now. My goodness me. It was almost a botch for the ages. As we saw in Division 3 last time out. Well, here's No Jug. Here goes Race Day down to the inside. Side by side for the lead into the Rivazza corners then. Does Race Day slide and hit No Jug? Yes, he does. No Jug still has the outside. No Jug, how the hell did he find traction around the final corner? He's gonna beat Race Day into the pits. Oh, but look at that. That Rosie's careened into the back of Race Day. That may have been wing damage then for the Ferrari. Goodness me, No Jug. I tell you what. Well, this is absolutely screwed Scornsy here with a double stack. I tell you what, we saw last time out in Division 3, we had the leader of the race lose it on the final lap in Brazil. We almost had the leader of a 13-second gap lose it then. And he did lose it temporarily, but he managed to hang it around the outside on the slick tires in the rain, with a driver to the inside who very well could have slid through the corner and collected both of them. And No Jug, somehow, for now, escapes scot-free throughout that whole shenanigan then. And now, as you can see, the track is starting to collect rainwater once more. You can see the tire tracks. That's fair indication. It's time for the intermediates. And that's what happened. And oh, by the way, Aero Racing Design might have a move here at Edwin, because he's within 0.2 of a second on the Mercedes ahead. We're going to have 4 laps to go, this time by, as NLR No Jug. All he has to do is keep the laps clean, and he'll have himself a win here. Even then, a podium would be nice, and that'll severely help his case for the relegation battle. But I tell you what, he's looking to get the win over Race Day here. Race Day, I tell you what, maybe struggling with oversteer here. He's had a bit of a wiggle coming out of both Aqua Minerale, out of Volta, and then out of Rivazza then as well. Lap 29 of 32. 0.5 of a second the gap. No Jug has the lead into the Tamburello chicane. The Alfa Romeo down to the inside of Gunnerati into Villeneuve now. No Jug still has the advantage. I believe that is still Gunnerati trying to get out of the way for Matt Rosie behind. 0.4 of a second, it's Aero Racing Design. Once again, the Alfa Romeo kind of, I don't want to say he's getting me quite scared there, because I see an Alfa Romeo go off. Both of them are kind of within the same vicinity. I think No Jug initially could have lost it, but no, it was his teammate getting out of the way. 0.5 of a second. Remember, Aero Racing Design is a 5... Wait, when did he get a 3-second time penalty? Well, that's relatively new. I don't remember that. But he has picked one up. So Race Day, I think now, beginning to kind of get a handle on his tires. He's not had as big of a slip coming out of Alta that time. Let's see how he handles Rivazza. Oh, he's taking the braking zone quite deep then. I think not really to his own choosing. And now, outside of a second, on the Alfa Romeo ahead. Goodness, what a great sight it would be to see an Alfa Romeo take the win here as Scornsy. I tell you what, Aero Racing Design, they were right close to each other, and now Scornsy is going to have a move down to the inside on the Alpine. He puts himself into 5th. Very nicely done there for the Ferrari. Aero Racing Design still in pursuit. He's going to try it down to the inside, coming out of Tamburello into Villeneuve. No, he's going to back out of it. And I think that may have been the smart thing to do. Let's see, he still has the inside through Toza. Who gets better acceleration? Is it going to be Scornsy on the outside? Yes, it will. Might still be side-by-side for Piratella. And no, Scornsy does end up with the spot. Listen, I'm all for drivers battling it out with each other, but if you got a penalty, you got a 3-second penalty. I mean, obviously here, Aero Racing Design would have lost the spot to Scornsy either way. He is still past Bacon by 3 seconds, who also has a 3-second penalty, but assume Say, who, by the way, is second-ish about getting around Bacon, you'd still want to be ahead of that 3-second threshold. So yeah, I mean, it's a tricky call, really, because I think that the courteous thing to do is to move yourself out of the way. You know, I'm all for letting you fight for position, but I mean, sometimes it's just kind of, if you're going to lose the spot anyways. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. But I'm not a racer anymore, so that's you know, I guess maybe me being too kind is one of the reasons I don't do that anymore. So 9 drivers on the grid with 3-second time penalties. Those include Matt Rosie, Matt Rosie, ARD, Bacon, Lancey, Callie Robb, Nikki 64, Shelly the Turtle, Hoxid, and Adol Tony. Look at this. Edwin is going for the podium on track, not on penalties. Three and a half tenths back to 4. Matt Rose is going to be losing the spot anyways, it has to be said, and he'll be losing it to his teammate as well. So Rosie will drop to about 5th. Yeah, well, that's exactly what he'll do. He'll drop to 5th. Either way. No Jug and Race Day coming through. Rivazza for the penultimate time now. NLR No Jug has got 1 lap in between himself and doing the impossible, really. I mean, this was something I didn't expect. Wow, I mean, what a story this would be here. NLR No Jug. 2 seconds ahead of Race Day. Edwin and Scornsy battling it out here. I say Edwin and Scornsy. Well, yeah, kind of, because Edwin's about to get past Matt Rosie here, who's going to try to at least. All the while, Scornsy's closing in on it as well. I think penalties are going to determine a lot of positions here. I mean, just what a turn of events this is going to be for that of NLR No Jug. NLR No Jug through Rivazza now. This season has turned into Mission Impossible for that of NLR No Jug, and against all odds wins the Italian Grand Prix. In Division 1, Race Day comes home second. NLR No Jug becomes the 3rd different winner this year. Edwin takes the podium with Matt Rosie's penalty. Scornsy gets promoted to 4th. Missione Impossibile, I think, is the almost Italian for that. For NLR No Jug. That has to be, I think, the lowest driver in point standings in Division 1 history to win a Grand Prix. P18. Unbelievable stuff. Fairy tale stuff, even. A lot of people dream of winning Division 1 races. Some dreams never really get accomplished. NLR No Jug has done just that, taking the win here in Imola for the Italian Grand Prix. Unbelievable. And that's a win Alfa Romeo needed as well. Polar opposite day for the Alfa Romeo team. 1st and 18th, but it's No Jug taking the win here in Imola. So after it's all said and done here in Imola, it's NLR No Jug with the fairy tale victory here, and pole, and the fastest lap. Race day in second, Edwin third, Scornsy fourth, Matt Rosie fifth, Racing Design sixth, Say in seventh, eighth Impossible Bacon, ninth is Lancey, 10th Cali Rob, 11th Nikki 64, 12th VTech, 13th Dusty Lusky, 14th Shelly the Turtle, 15th Hoxton, 16th Houdini, 17th Adaltonian, Gunnerati 18th, rounding out the field P19, Shariah Coleslaw. And if you thought that was interesting, next week we had Demonico. Goodness gracious. What an end of the season. What a story we have left here to unfold in Division 1. Hotspot's been a pleasure joining you this week. We'll see you next time in Monaco.